dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about the African-American relations in light of the new American administration as Republican President Donald Trump is leaving the White House today, and Democrat President Joe Biden is going to swear in as the 46th President for the United States of America. But first, we'll start with this report where a tense calm was felt in the Sudanese Darfur region after days of inter-ethnic violence claimed at least 155 lives, left scores wounded, and displaced tens of thousands. More details in the following story by Samah Sharif.
A tribal leader and a regional official in Sudan's Darfur said the region was calm days after violence killed over 155 people and wounded scores others. The transitional government in the capital Khartoum sent troops to the remote region where the end of a joint United Nations and African Union peacekeeping mission has raised fears of more bloodshed. Violence erupted on Saturday in El Geneina, the capital of West Darfur, killing at least 100 people and wounding more than 130. The clashes between Arab nomads and members of the Masalit ethnic group led around 50,000 people to flee areas in and around a camp for internally displaced people who were driven from their homes in previous conflicts. Authorities in West Darfur have imposed a statewide curfew as troops arrived there from Khartoum and other states to restore order. Separate clashes broke out Monday in South Darfur between members for the Falata ethnic group and the Arab Rizigat tribe, leaving at least 55 people killed and 37 wounded. A tribal leader blamed the violence in West Darfur on gangs coming from other parts of the region and outlaws who crossed from neighboring Chad. Sudan has been undergoing a rocky transition since the April 2019 ouster of President Omar al-Bashir amid mass pro-democracy protests. The transitional government, installed months after Bashir's ouster, has been pushing to stabilize Sudan's remote regions after years of conflict. The vast western region of Darfur was convulsed by bloody fighting in 2003. The violence killed 300,000 people and displaced 2.5 million, according to the UN.
In Central Africa, 2 peacekeepers were killed after the court ruled for the confirmation of President Faustin Archange Touadéra's re-election. More details follow.
The Central African Republic on Monday, hours after the top court confirmed President Faustin Archange Touadéra's re-election in a December vote marred by low turnout. The peacekeepers, a Gabonese and a Moroccan, were killed in an ambush on their convoy near the southern city of Bangassou, a city that the UN said at the weekend had been retaken from armed groups who had seized it 2 weeks earlier. The attack, the latest in a series blamed on a coalition of armed groups that mounted a failed coup ahead of the December 27 vote, brought the number of MINUSCA troops killed since then to 7. UN Special Envoy to the Central African Republic, Mancur Ndiaye, said MINUSCA had paid a heavy price but remained committed to pursuing its mandate to protect civilians and secure elections. The coalition had tried to advance on the capital Bangui on December 19 in an operation that Touadéra said was fomented by his predecessor, François Bozizé. Last Wednesday, the rebels mounted their closest attack yet to Bangui, striking near the city's outskirts before being pushed back with the loss of a peacekeeper. They were thwarted by government and UN forces as well as Russian paramilitaries and Rwandan troops under bilateral security pacts. In a joint statement Monday, the African Union, the Economic Community of Central African States, the UN, and the European Union noted the court's ruling. The international organizations also condemned the recent violence and urged all parties to work together to create favorable conditions for the finalization of the next stages of the electoral process.
Rwanda's capital, Kigali, was back under total lockdown after a surge in the coronavirus cases in the country that has adopted some of Africa's toughest anti-COVID 19 measures. More details with Samah al-Sharif.
A tribal leader and a regional official in Sudan's Darfur said the region was calm days after violence killed over 155 people and wounded scores others. The transitional government in the capital, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame's government announced full lockdown measures at a cabinet meeting banning unnecessary movements in the capital. Rwanda imposed one of Africa's first total shutdowns in March 2020 and has maintained an evening curfew, changing the times and imposing curbs on transport as its outbreak fluctuated. The country of 12 million people has had around 11,500 cases of the virus and almost 150 deaths since the start of the outbreak. Health Ministry statistics show that a recent surge in cases has mainly affected the capital, which represents 61% of all infections. The capital appeared particularly deserted, with only a few food traders out and about, and the absence of the usually ubiquitous motorbike taxis. The government statement said all movements would require a police permit. Non-essential businesses, churches, schools, and universities were closed, and a 6 p.m. curfew would be maintained in the rest of the country. Such measures have hit the poor hard in the past, many of whom live hand to mouth on what they can earn on a given day. Rwanda has enforced its measures strictly, sending those caught breaking curfew or not wearing masks to all-night lectures on the dangers of the virus.
And now to shed light on the African-American ties in light of the new administration of the president who will swear in few hours, Joe Biden, the new Democratic president, the 46th president for the United States of America. We are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Ambassador Bayoumi, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Ambassador Bayoumi, how do you evaluate here the African-American ties during the office or the administration of the outgoing President of the United States, Donald Trump?
I am afraid to tell you that I am a little bit disappointed about
Yes.
the priority of Africa. Whether in the United States or even Europe. And when I was ambassador in Africa, it was clear from our friends, ambassadors of the United States, that they are not putting Africa at head of their priority. From a commercial point of view, it doesn't pay. One European ambassador told me that what he's doing in the country where we have been in Africa, in 1 year, he can do it in Japan in 1 day. So the volume of trade of Africa, of course, it's not that big. So it's not encouraging other people to come and invest. But as Africa still, although it is a poor continent, but the flow of money from Africa towards the developed economies is much more than it receives. Also, most of what Africa is producing is in the hands of European companies and foreign companies. So Egypt, during its presidency of the African Union, succeeded to attract the European Union to agree on the idea of investing in Africa with the Egyptian experience and Egyptian experts. And we are doing whatever it takes in order to realize this goal. So we hope that the new president is much receptive to the third world, especially that the president who we are bidding him farewell. We hope that this will change a little bit, because the nearest developed country to United States, which is Mexico, was not treated well with leaving presidency. Although I have witnessed myself the difference in Mexico between 20 years ago and nowadays, after the free trade agreement, the NAFTA, between Canada, Mexico, and United States, it's a huge difference because you make the people enjoy development in their own country without being forced to do what we call illegal migration. And the Mexican economy is flourishing because of this. President Trump, he stopped this. He built a big wall between United States and Mexico. And this gives you a sort of idea of how that presidency was looking to the third world in general, and even to the closest third world country, to the United States. So we hope that this will take place in the new changes, and it's also our duty to attract all the European and the American countries to come to Africa and to make use of it, and to present Africa as a chance for more investment and trade, not only problems of development and so on.
Joe Biden, do you expect here to witness drastic changes in the policies of the new American administration towards the African continent?
We are in the state of receiving a new administration.
Yes.
And still it is American administration, and the priorities of American foreign policy, it's almost the same. But of course, it is a change of the tactics, not the strategy.
Yes.
So we hope that with this president, who is a sort of an expert, he was before vice president of President Obama.
Yes.
He has all the experience he needs to know whatever he wants to know. The names he put as candidatures for foreign office or Pentagon or wherever, sort of experienced people. So I think that we are going to see a better situation from the United States concerning its foreign policy in general, and especially to the third world and to Africa.
Yes. Ambassador Bayoumi, how do you see the importance here of the African-American relations in different domains?
For us, it is very important, of course, but I am afraid to repeat what I'm saying, that we are not the first priority. I mean, actually, it's not the first priority to the United States. Egypt is an exception, of course, because Egypt is a very effective country in its domain, as Arab country, as Middle Eastern country, as a country with the largest army in the area, and we are a positive element for peace and stability and development in our area.
Yes.
That's why we are enjoying better situation, better priority with the American foreign policy.
Yes. Mr. Ambassador, as you have kindly mentioned, that we were not till this moment the priority for the United States as the African continent. From your point of view, why still the U.S. investments is pale relatively comparing to the Chinese, the Indian, and the French and European investment in Africa?
I must be honest to you and to tell you that the Arab investment itself in the United States and Europe is 10 times or more than 10 times the intra-Arab investment in the Arab world. So we think that this should take place in our priority, and to understand that this has to be changed. So I hope that this will take place in our mind and we change it, because it's not a matter that we are happy with Africa or not happy with Africa.
Yes.
The matter is, it is easier to invest in Europe by phone. You can raise your phone and get in any market and invest there. In Africa, still we have a whole list of duties to be done.
Yes.
Transport is not that good. The banking system needs to be improved. The bureaucracy is deteriorating.
Yes.
So it depends also on our side, to be honest to you, that we do our homework in order to be attractive to foreign direct investment.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, what economic fields need more cooperation in the coming phase, especially with the presence of the COVID-19 and the COVID-19 restrictions?
This is one good point which was discussed in Saudi Arabia lately in the G20.
Yes.
Where they allocated a good sum of money to help Africa to get the remedy for the disease. Egypt yesterday declared that we are going to help African countries with all the medicine they need.
Yes.
And also there is another sum of budget allocated for the African countries and the most heavily indebted countries. As a matter of fact, we need to help them in order to refresh the economies of those countries and then to refresh the world economy, because the world economy, because of the disease, is not in good health also. Thank God that Egypt is one of rare countries which is still growing positively, and we hope to continue this, and we hope to double our efforts in this concern. Yes.
How can we work on the African side in order to try to attract more foreign investments and more foreign investors in the coming phase, Mr. Ambassador, as you have kindly just mentioned, that we are still having many challenges and many obstacles that we have to conquer?
Of course, we have to show the African people and the African leaders especially that it is good to see how other countries are developing their economies, how they are developing their bureaucracy, banking system, transport. So all these things, as long as you are ameliorating and developing those sectors, then you can get more and more investment. And we can do something good to ourselves, that we need to start positive projects to give example that there is a chance for success in Africa. I always put in front of my priorities in Africa agriculture, because agriculture is very well needed. We need to secure our food security, especially in the Arab world. But here, nobody in America or Europe will help you. Why? Because they are, on the contrary, having surplus of food and surplus of agricultural products. So they are not keen to let you develop this sector, because then you will compete with them.
Yes,
it is a sort of complicated situation, but we have to be very careful where we go from now ahead.
Yes, we hope to see more cooperation between Africa and the United States during the Biden's administration. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, always a pleasure to have you with us, sir. Thank you very much. And our dear viewers, with that, we come to the end of this edition of Africa Today. Hope you have enjoyed it until we meet on Sunday with another crew. It's goodbye. Thank you for watching.